Hello everyone, Faraway Prepper here. Welcome back to the channel. Before I begin, just a quick reminder. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It's totally free, and also hit the thumbs up. It really helps and I really appreciate it. Alright guys, as you can see, yesterday I went to Home Depot and got some fruit trees. I got peach, I got apple, plum, pear, and cherry trees. I already have some fruit trees here at the property, but when it comes to fruit trees, you can never have too many. You know what I mean? Now, you might be asking yourself, why is Faraway Prepper talking about fruit trees? It'll make sense in a moment, so please watch till the end so you can get the full picture. You know, I'm starting to get very concerned about what's coming to America. I'm talking about the further weakening of the dollar, supply chain issues, people losing their jobs due to layoffs, and the world becoming every day increasingly more divided in terms of international trade and military alliances. And I feel like whatever is left of our freedoms will be taken sooner than we think. I'm not sure that people understand how bad things will get in the not so distant future. It seems to me that most preppers and financial channels here on YouTube are using these chaotic times to sell you something, you know, to make a quick buck off your fears and anxiety. They understand very well that fear sells gear. I'll be completely honest with you guys, on this channel I had the chances to get sponsors and I declined every single one of them. On this channel I give you information, not infomercials. I share with you my experiences on my journey from being a city boy to now being a prepper/homesteader. But once you have a prepper channel with sponsors, there's a conflict of interest and I can no longer trust you because there's a motivating factor to keep pumping the bad news. You know what I mean? The more you freak people out, the more money you make. I understand that we all need to make money, but when you are manipulating your viewers to make ends meet, that's, in my opinion, immoral. Control without consent is manipulation. Almost every prepper and financial channel here on YouTube is trying to sell you gold and silver right now, as opposed to be telling you to buy a piece of property, to build a cabin, to plant some fruit trees, raise animals, or to build a network of like-minded individuals. And yes, I understand that not everyone is in the financial position to do things like buying a piece of property. But if you join forces with friends and family members, maybe you could make it happen. If you're carefully paying attention to global and economic developments, you would agree with me that stockpiling beans, bullets, and band-aids in your city apartment and putting gold and silver under your pillow won't be enough to survive what's coming. You will require a lot more than that. That mentality and strategy is good for normal times. That would be enough to get you through a natural disaster, a recession, or a personal tragedy. But as far as I can see, and I hope I'm wrong by the way, but if you are serious about prepping at this point, you have to start thinking like a homesteader. Because in a total collapse of civilization, precious metals will not save you. In a collapse of civilization, a loaf of bread will be more valuable than 100 pounds of gold. It has happened before. Read history, especially the history of famines. Put yourself in that scenario, okay? Let's say that it's now 2037 and we no longer have paper money. We now have a digital currency. World War III completely destroyed our way of life, and much of this country and the world is in ruins, just like Japan in 1945. So you went through all of your emergency food supply, and now you and your family are starving. But prior to the collapse, you have been stacking gold and silver. Now you have two options to get food. Either you sell your precious metals in exchange for a digital currency, or you could barter with those gold coins. And that's if the government doesn't confiscate and make it illegal to own gold, as it was the case from the 1930s to the 1970s. But let's just assume that that will never happen again, right? Because history never repeats itself, right? Now, you're not going to sell your wealth in precious metals for a digital currency because you never liked the idea of digital currencies. Since your father told you many times If you don't hold it, you don't own it. So you're not going to give in to a digital currency. Your only option left is to barter with those gold coins. Let's say that now you go to a farmer and offer him 2 ounces of gold in exchange for a cow. Don't forget, it's now 2037 and we are now living in a dystopian future. Our way of life is over. Total collapse of civilization. That farmer will never sell you that cow that produces milk, cheese, meat, and potentially can reproduce to keep him and his family alive and well fed for generations to come. Even if you offer that farmer 10 pounds of gold, he wouldn't sell it to you. He'd rather barter that cow in exchange for 3 pigs with his next door neighbor. Especially in a total collapse of civilization where there are no supermarkets. If this was happening in normal times, that farmer will be really stupid not to sell that cow for 10 pounds of gold. But I'm afraid that in the near future, people are going to be much more concerned about putting food on the table and surviving than to be playing Monopoly with gold coins. The only thing that lasts forever is change. And oh yes, I know my history very well. I know that gold has remained relevant for thousands of years, but food has been relevant to hominins for millions of years. Humans can live without gold, but cannot live without food. Focus your attention accordingly. Remember that scene from the movie Titanic when the ship was sinking and that rich guy gave one of the guards a stack of money to let him on one of the boats that they were using to save the women and children. The guard ended up throwing the stack of money in his face, saying something like, "Your money cannot save you any more than it can save me." That's a great example that when the crap really hits the fan, people don't worry about getting rich. People worry about surviving. In the not so distant future, no form of money, whether that's paper money, digital money, or precious metals, will save anyone. So in conclusion, learn to live the lifestyle that our forefathers lived. The life that God intended for us humans to live. Living off the land, or rather, living with the land. I hope that what I'm saying makes sense here. And I'm not against gold and silver. As a matter of fact, I have invested a little bit in gold and silver. For normal times, and let me say it again, for normal times, precious metals are great as a long-term investment to keep up with inflation. But this world is changing rapidly and is becoming a tyrannical place in terms of liberty and freedom. I cannot tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm only telling you what I'm doing myself. You do your own research and you decide what's best for you and your family. But in my opinion, the best way to prepare for what's coming is getting out of the city, living in a community with like-minded people where you can have your homestead with your fruit trees and animals, producing your own food to become independent from the system. And when the collapse happens, there will be a less strain in the system. This goes hand in hand with what President Kennedy said once. Remember? Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And taking personal responsibility for a probable collapse is a great start. And that's something that we can all work on. Yes, gold and silver should be on your list, but it's something that shouldn't be at the top of your list, especially if you live in or near a strategic target area. You don't want to end up in the upper atmosphere, in a mushroom cloud with your gold coins in your pocket. You know what I mean? Don't get caught up in the middle of the storm. Prepare now before it's too late. Use your common sense, which I know it's not that common these days, but remember, where there's a will, there's a way. There will be always plenty of excuses for those who are not serious about anything really. Once you have checked all the boxes like your food, your medical supplies, your water, you live out of the city, you have a network of like-minded individuals. You're living like a homesteader. Now you can start thinking about gold and silver. Because the way I see it, gold and silver and precious metals in general, that's like the icing on the cake for preppers. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and please subscribe to the channel. It really helps, and hey, it's totally free. And hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Alright folks, see you in the next one. Faraway Prepper out.